So what's up, guys? Got the X2 M35 in for a clean today, or a little wash. It's been a lot of rain in my area for the entire week. So a white car, rain, dirt, dust, you know how it goes. Guys are putting it together. It's gonna be nice and tidy when it's done. I've done a few things to it since the video I recently did when I got the car. So today I'm gonna go look at some tires. I'll take you through the things that I've done to it. They're very minor, no major performance upgrades or things like that, but just some things to add life to it and make it more livable. But I'm gonna look at some tires today because I want a wider track tire. I don't wanna go with the run flats that came on it. They just ride a bit harsh once they get low on tread. Just not the best, smoothest tire I've ever seen or felt. So I'm gonna look at some alternatives that aren't run flat. A lot of cars don't come with a spare anyway, so even if they do have run flats or don't have run flats, they usually don't have spares anyway, so I'm not losing anything. So we'll go take a look at a local dealer near where I live, kind of look at what options are and just compare a couple. I'm looking at a 235, 40 or 35, or I'm looking at a 245, 40, maybe 35, we'll see. I just want a little wider track on that tire, just to give it a little bit more broader stance, a little larger contact patch. Car has a front wheel bias because of the configuration of the engine. It's a transversely mounted engine, so it will have a torque steer, but I think for the most part, the way that the system works, the dynamic nature of it, you can get some really good handling out of it, and I want a tire that will allow me to get the most from that. So we'll check in once the car is clean, and we'll go look at some tires, and then I'll show you those things that I've added to the car just to give it my own personal touch, if you will. All right, in a minute. Okay, so interestingly, a hatch or a wagon is just pulled up behind my car, just getting washed. And I just want to give you a comparison of, like, a lot of road noise, sorry, of how similar this vehicle, the X2, is to just your typical hatch or wagon as opposed to SUV. So you might notice that next to it or behind it, we've got a Volkswagen. And if you look, I mean, there's very close similarity. The ride height is slightly different. That's got a higher ride height, mostly due to the wheels and the springs. But for the most part, they're lined up about the same. The roof height on that car, as I mentioned in the previous video, they've kind of chopped the roof a little bit from the X1. So it gives it a little tighter, tapered looking roof line. But for the most part, they're very similar in their size. I mean, I'd say I've got about the same amount of room in the back, in the cargo area, as the wagon. So very interesting indeed. So it's very much more like a wagon or a hatch than it is an SUV. Even though it's built on an SUV platform, that's really less of an SUV and more of a hatch or wagon that rides higher. Yeah, that's probably not that useful, but I just thought it was interesting to see it side by side. All right, well, the car is all clean. I'm back driving, and it just looks great in here. It looks great on the outside. You can see the white, once it's clean, is just really, really nice. It's just one of the most beautiful cars that I've ever looked at. When it's clean, it really exemplifies how good this car really is, isn't it? So anyway, the things I wanted to share with you that I've done with the car since the last video, since I bought it, I've added a few things, nothing major. I did look at some tires. I think I'm gonna go with a 235. A 245 is just way too big. The car only comes with a 225, and I think I'm being a little bit ambitious to think 245, because that's a big tire. So that's probably the next thing I'll do to it. But right now, what I've done to it, just to make sure that I like how it all flows together, the feng shui in my car, if you will, I've added some floor mats other than the carpeted ones. And these ones I got off of Amazon. And these are the all-weather ones. And they are pretty great. I'm digging these. Now, everything shows up on it. As soon as you step in some dust, you will see it all on the floor. But it's an all-weather mat. So you just wipe it back down and Bob's your uncle. So let me give you a look at this. You can see it's pretty dirty already, but got the X2 emblem on it. It's official BMW. I got it on Amazon. 100 bucks. 100 bucks for these. And they've got the Velcro underneath so it doesn't move about. But that turned out really great. The other thing, and this was something that I really was not crazy about on this car, was the center console setup. So originally it comes with this, get in and show you here. It comes with this little adjustable armrest that moves up and down. And it tilts, it's got a ratcheting tilt that locks into place so you can set it in 3 different settings. Well, a piece that I found also on Amazon was this bit. And I've got the wire running down into the USB-C charger so that I can have my charger pad, which I may or may not have mentioned that this car didn't come with a charging pad, wireless charging pad. I had one already, and there was nowhere for it to live without it looking out of place or it being cumbersome. Adding this piece, and it's just a drop box that goes perfectly into the slot that sits under this bit, where there was just an open space, and it reminded me of the late 90s Volkswagen Jetta. They had something like this, and it was I feel like it was a very cheap move on BMW's part. You're being cheeky bastards with that, to just put this little flimsy like excuse of a center console armrest. It works, but it left you all this open area where all your stuff's exposed. So if you wanted to put something there, it was visible to anybody who's just walking by your car. And I'm not going to take it out because it's wired in for this pad, which works fantastically. But now I have a place for that to live. This now, when you close it, rests, so it doesn't have to lock at all. It just rests on top of that. And it looks like it's part of the entire console. It's a very uniform piece. It looks like it was designed for this car, because it was. But it looked like it came from the factory. It fits around this contour here, lines up really nicely. Be great if the stitching could have matched that, but I'm not going to be that picky. 35 bucks that was. One of the best additions I could have imagined, because I think it just looks better, it feels better, and it's just more complete. So that's what I've done so far. And I'm still thrilled to pieces with this car. Fun to drive. It's still a hootenanny. So that's where we are with it. So once I get the tires, take a look at how those look on it. But I'm interested to see how the handling is any different. These are pretty good tires. The Pirelli P0s are great. These are the run flats. They hold pretty well, but they're getting low. Come on, I'll show you. Whoops. All right, so here we are. You just look at this. The tread depth is my pinky. It's pretty low. I've actually got a card to measure this, and it's got like a green as you're good, white as you're getting close to being out of tread, and then red is you need new tires. I'm in between the green and the white on mine. So they're not far, and the backs aren't much better. But it's not like they're bald. They still do the job, but I know the time is gonna come. And with summer coming, I want the best tire on there I can get. You can see, pretty clean. I mean, that looks really good, I have to say. Anyway, thrilled about it. Till next time.